Once upon a time, in the heart of Britain, a young princess who never expected to be queen suddenly found herself at the center of history. Her name was Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor, and her journey would transform not only the royal family but also the world's perception of monarchy. Born in 1926, Elizabeth was not destined to be queen. But destiny had its own plans. When her uncle, King Edward VIII, abdicated the throne, her father became King George VI. From that moment, Elizabeth was next in line. The shy little girl who loved corgis and horses would one day become the most recognized woman on earth. When her father died in 1952, Elizabeth, at just 25 years old, became queen. The world was still recovering from World War II. Britain was battered, its empire crumbling, and its people searching for hope. At that crucial time, Elizabeth became a symbol of continuity, dignity, and resilience. Her coronation was the first to ever be televised. Millions around the world tuned in, marking the beginning of a new era, not just for Britain but for the monarchy itself. People who had never seen the Queen suddenly felt connected to her. She wasn't just a distant figure in a palace, she was someone who entered their homes through the TV screen. For 70 long years, Queen Elizabeth reigned. She met world leaders from Winston Churchill to Barack Obama, from Nelson Mandela to Vladimir Putin. She saw the rise and fall of empires, the birth of the internet, and the changing face of society. Through it all, she remained a steady, unshakable figure, the face of the crown. But her legacy isn't just about politics or power. It's about duty. From the very beginning, Elizabeth promised that her life would be dedicated to serving her people. She kept that promise until the very end. Rain or shine, war or peace, scandal or celebration, she was always there. Her reign wasn't free of challenges. The monarchy faced criticism, controversies, and personal tragedies. The breakdown of Charles and Diana's marriage shook the royal family. The tragic death of Princess Diana in 1997 brought the monarchy under intense scrutiny. Many wondered if the Queen was out of touch with her people. But with time, Elizabeth adapted, showing humility and resilience. Her decision to bow her head as Diana's coffin passed by remains one of the most powerful images of her reign. Her personal life, though private, fascinated millions. She was deeply in love with Prince Philip, her husband for more than 70 years. Together, they represented stability in a changing world. When Philip passed away in 2021, the image of the Queen sitting alone at his funeral, because of COVID restrictions, touched hearts globally. It showed her humanity. Even the world's longest reigning monarch was not above the pain of loss. Elizabeth's humor was another hidden gem. Though she appeared serious in public, those close to her knew her sharp wit. Who could forget the moment she shared tea with Paddington Bear during her Platinum Jubilee, or when she appeared alongside James Bond in a skit for the London Olympics? These moments reminded the world that behind the crown was a woman with warmth, humor, and charm. Her reign also represented the transition of Britain from empire to Commonwealth. She became not just the Queen of the United Kingdom but a figurehead for over 50 nations that make up the Commonwealth. For many, she was a unifying presence, someone who embodied tradition while embracing change. When Queen Elizabeth II passed away in September 2022 at the age of 96, the world stopped. Streets filled with mourners, leaders from across the globe paid tribute, and millions watched her final journey. For many, it felt like losing a grandmother. But her legacy lives on. She leaves behind, not just her children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, but also a standard of leadership built on duty, grace, and resilience. The world may never see a monarch like her again. Her face remains on stamps, coins, and banknotes. Her words remain in speeches that inspired generations. And her image remains in the hearts of millions who grew up knowing only one queen, Elizabeth II. Her story is one of transformation. A shy girl who loved animals became the world's most enduring monarch. A woman who was never supposed to be queen became the longest reigning in British history. She didn't just live through history, she was history. As the crown passes to the next generation, Queen Elizabeth's legacy will continue to shine. Her unwavering dedication to her people, her sense of humor, her quiet strength, these are the things that will live forever. In the end, Elizabeth was not just a queen. She was a daughter, a wife, a mother, a grandmother. She was a symbol of tradition, but also of humanity. And perhaps that is her greatest legacy of all, reminding the world that even behind the crown, there was always a heart. Her reign will be remembered for centuries, not just as a timeline of events, but as a story of devotion, sacrifice, and love. A story that began with a young princess and ended with the world mourning a queen. And though she may no longer walk among us, the world will forever echo with the words, "God save the Queen."